Good morning. Welcome to our commission meeting, first one of 2026. I call our meeting to order. And note for the record, we do have a quorum of commissioners present. Commissioner Kipley is out of town today. Before we get started, just remind everyone, please silence your cell phone. And if you're going to speak today, public record, we're required to have your name. I'm going to ask you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First order is special business, different meeting, start out the first of the year. I am going to look for a motion to approve our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on, first order of business is a selection of the commission chair for 2026. I will take public comment before we take nominations. Anybody want to comment on our process for selection? All right, I'll turn it back to the commission.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Commissioner Karski as the chair.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Comments? Please call the roll.
Bleinberg,
Aye.
Benega,
Aye.
Heisey,
Aye.
Karski.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on then, any public comment on the selection process for the vice chair for the commission? All right, moving on then, I'll turn it back to the commission for action.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Commissioner Bleinberg, please. Second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Benega,
Aye.
Heisey,
Aye.
Bleinberg,
Aye.
Karski.
Aye, motion carries. Every year we select our official county newspapers. This is the process where we begin that. I will turn it over to Meredith to tee this up and we'll move on.
Morning, Commissioners. One moment here. All right, so yes, this is the item to designate our legal newspapers for 2026. So in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 718.3, we must designate 3 legal newspapers in the county. For 2025, we did designate 4 newspapers, which we have been doing since 2019. Those newspapers were the Brandon Valley Journal, Garrettson Gazette, Minnehaha Messenger, and for the first time, the Dakota Scout. So in the attached materials are the submitted rates. We reached out to all of the publications that are in circulation in the county. If they would like to be considered as a legal newspaper, they submitted their letters, which are also attached in the packet. With their rates, these rates are set by state statute, and you may see some variation. That is because it's based on their font size and their column width. So we have their publishing rates, as well as there was a law passed in 2024, which approves the annual rate increase of 2% or the index factor, whichever is less. And that goes into effect on July 1 each year. So there would be that slight increase partway through the year in July. We have their circulation rates. And then, I should mention, so the papers that submitted were the Argus Leader, Brandon Valley Journal, Garrettson Gazette, Minnehaha Messenger, and Dakota Scout. And we also have a graph here that just shows our county publishing expenses. The red maroon bars are for commission publishing expenses. The blue is for total county publishing costs. And then that dotted line is our commission percent of the total. So this is updated with complete 2024 numbers and the numbers we have for 2025. There may still be some invoices that come in from end of the year publishing for 2025. But I will stand by for any questions you have, and I believe there are some members of the publication here as well that may want to say a few words, but open to answer any questions you have.
Okay, we'll take public comment. Anybody from any of the papers or public that would like to address the commission, now's your opportunity.
Hello, Garrick Moritz, Garrettson Gazette. Nice to see you again this year, guys. We see you once a year usually, but some good news to add to what's on the screen is my subscriptions went back up. Hey, I think $60 per year for a subscription is pretty cheap, but you know, some people get set in their ways. But yeah, thank you guys again for supporting the free press in Minnehaha County by doing this. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.
Any additional public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Lisa Miller with the Minnehaha Messenger. I'd like to just thank you for your support that you have given the rural community papers that for the past since 2019, and I hope that we can continue having your support through 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jill Meyer, the publisher editor of the Brandon Valley Journal. I just kind of want to echo what Garrick and Lisa both said. We do appreciate keeping the line of communication open with our readers, and we know they make a difference. So thank you.
All right. Commission, turn it over to you for questions, comments, action. Meredith, I guess my question is, we can select all 5, we can select 4, we have to select 3.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so the 4 we've had, you've mentioned which 4 have we had? Can you?
Yep, so from 2019 to 2024, it was Brandon Valley Journal, Garrettson Gazette, Minnehaha Messenger, and Argus Leader. And then last year was the first year that we switched out the Argus Leader for the Dakota Scout.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we continue with Garrettson, Minnehaha, Brandon Valley Journal, and the Dakota Scout papers.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Additional comments? All right. So basically, the motion is to keep things as we had it for the last year. Okay. Call the roll.
Benega.
Aye.
Blindberg.
Aye.
Heisey.
Aye.
Karski.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we move on to record a record of non-elected department heads for 2026. Good morning, Tom.
All right, good morning, Tom Greco, Commission Administrative Officer. This request is just to make a motion to enter the department heads, non-elected department heads into the minutes. The reason we do this is because department heads are granted a certain amount of authority either through policy, resolution, ordinance, and in some case state statutes, and this just puts on record who our appointed department heads are. So would encourage you to make that motion to enter these into the minutes.
All right. Public comment on this agenda item. Commission.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Heisey.
Aye.
Blindberg.
Aye.
Benega.
Aye.
Karski.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to our appointment of the Minnehaha County Coroner for 2026.
Good morning, Commissioners. So we are asking you to consider a motion to reappoint Dr. Kenneth Snell as the County Coroner for 2026. Dr. Snell has served as the County Coroner since 2011. And South Dakota codified law permits us to appoint a coroner by resolution. The formal agreement with Dr. Snell for his services, including medical examiner, was approved at the December 2nd, 2025 meeting. So happy to answer any questions you have.
Public comment. Commission.
Make a motion to reappoint Dr. Kenneth Snell as the county coroner for 2026.
Second.
Motion and second. Please call the roll.
Blindberg.
Aye.
Heisey,
Aye.
Benega,
Aye.
Karski.
Aye, motion carries. All right, moving on. Establish 2026 salary for Minnehaha County Commissioners. Always one of the ironic or uncomfortable things we get to do is
Yes, by statute, you do have to do this each year. And so what I brought before you, here's a memo just explaining what's going to be on the next page, a proposed resolution. As a reminder, SDCL 77-5 does require you to establish your salaries. If you don't, there is a minimum salary set by statute. That's not dissimilar to other elected offices within the county. I have included a resolution in here that includes the proposed salaries for 2026. In that, and it reflects essentially recommendations made by our recent compensation and benefits study, recognizing that commissioners fulfill a legislative and an executive role. Also just want to remind you that you don't have health insurance benefits, et cetera. What this does is it proposes or provides a salary for the 3 commissioners who are not the chair or vice chair, recommends $40,268.80. However, for the chair, we have traditionally had an approximately $1,500 additional salary. In this case, the recommendation would be $41,787.20. And then this year, it's recommended that the vice chair receive an additional approximately $1,000, and that amount is $41,288. The important thing here is that obviously you have to set your own salary each year. We have certainly budgeted for changes to commissioner salaries based on the McGrath study. So before you, below is the actual resolution, and would turn it over to the commission for any questions, discussion, or action.
all right. Thank you, Tom. We'll move on to public comment on salaries for the commissioners. Good morning, sir.
Gary Meyer, can I get the overhead, please?
Got it.
Well, to start off with, I'll start kind of where I was going to end was, I served on jury duty in November. And the jury duty requires you to log in once every Friday to check the schedule, and recommends again on Sunday. And then if you get called, then you have to come in. And it's not an option. If you fail, any person summoned to appear as a juror fails to appear is guilty of contempt of court and may be fined or imprisoned at the county jail or both. Now, I checked in every Friday and quite often on Sunday, and I was called in on one occasion. So I came in on Friday. I was here early because I wanted to make sure I found a spot to park, made it through security, and was on time. And I did not end up getting picked. But I was here for it took me approximately 4 hours. I got a check for $10. Yep. I'm not complaining about that check for $10. That was my civic duty. But my point is, what's not shown on the commissioner's salary is the previous 4 years, there was a 5% increase every year for every position. For this year, the chair is slated to get a 10% increase. The vice chair is slated to get a 14% increase, and the other three are slated to get an 11% increase. And I don't know for sure, but I don't think the cost for election workers has been increased. Leah can address that when she gets up here. But my point is, all those people serving on jury duty got $10 for the whole day. Unless they served, then they got $50. And yet, the commissioners are getting a 10 to 14% increase. And I believe everybody on a fixed income, I'm talking Social Security, got a 2.8% increase. So you can do as you feel appropriate. I just wanted to, I was disappointed that those increases seem to be hid from the public.
Anybody else for public comment? Okay, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jean Childs, Minnehaha County. Hand-counted ballots at the precinct level, 1/10 the cost of tabulators, and you vote in yourselves a 10 to 14% pay raise. I get 2% a year with my pension, and everything else goes up more. And you think that we, the people, can't do a darn thing about it. But the times, they are changing sooner than you think. You know the truth, and you are accountable.
Anybody else for public comment?
Thank you, Penny Baybridge, Minnehaha County. Just in dealing with increases right now in this environment of increases for the public, and in noticing all the fraud going on around the country and how money is managed and where it's put, I think a wiser thing to do is, if you want to look at this, is have a board or a group of independent citizens sit down and look at it, and you can present to them what your reasons are and why, and maybe have more of the public involved in that, not just coming in and talking and saying your opinion, but let them have some real input and power in showing their support for it or against it. Thank you.
Jennifer Foss, Minnehaha County. I really wasn't planning on speaking today, but when I heard that the pay increases were coming, I just kind of wanted to come and implore you guys that people are struggling right now, and the spending that's going on in our state is, in my opinion, really tone deaf. Please think about the people's money as you would your own family budgets. And when there isn't the money and you're having to charge us opt-outs and keep increasing stuff, and costs keep rising, but wages keep down. I understand you guys do a job, and I thank you guys for the work that you guys do, because I know that it isn't easy. And so I appreciate your work here. But please just kind of think about the fact that spending more, even though maybe a study showed that you guys should be paid more, I understand that, but maybe now isn't the time to increase your fees. And I ask that you just kind of stop spending right now. Thank you.
I'm just going to remind everybody, and Ms. Voss, thank you. You said you weren't intending to speak, but if you did speak today, we do need you to sign in, so thank you. All right, anybody else for public comment? Okay, I'm going to close down public comment, and I will turn it over to the commission if you have questions. I guess I'm going to start, if you don't mind. Carrie, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it was referenced our wage and benefit study, so I don't know if you have any more information you could share with the public why we're considering the action that we're considering, and talk us through that a little bit.
I think as you opened, you said this is always an awkward conversation, and I think that's one of the reasons you looked at having the study include the commissioner review, is it's difficult to set your own pay, and to do so impartially, you've relied upon the expertise of an outside consultant. Tom also made a point in his opening comments that I think is key here too. The commission does not, unlike other comparables, receive benefits like health insurance. So the proposed rate takes all of that into consideration.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, turn it back to the commission.
I'd make a motion to approve the resolution on the table as is.
I'll second that resolution. And if I could make a comment, Commissioner?
Please.
This is difficult. It's always awkward. And it's easy for us to consider just not adopting McGrath for ourselves. But all along, we've been proponents of this study and the work that was done to try to make sure that the positions are paid fairly. So I'm in support. And as uncomfortable as it is, I'm thankful that we made that decision to do the compensation study and to pay our employees and our staff appropriately.
How many years, Carrie, I'm sorry, I should have asked you this when you're up here, has it been since the commission salaries were included in any study? Do you know how long it's been since it's been reviewed?
I think it's been since 2008, very honestly. Yeah.
18 years, 17
Yes,
years?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
So we have a motion and a second. I'm just going to make a comment too. With the wage and benefit study, we also aged it for inflation at, I think, 2.7% or close to that. That's fine. Wasn't that? Nope. Keep me straight here.
The resolution you have before you is the proposed rate that McGrath provided using essentially data that's about a year old.
Without the inflation age.
Without the inflationary increase.
But for the staff, we did the proposed plus,
That's correct.
yeah, which
So this is
was,
more conservative than you took for your full-time staff.
so yeah, so we're giving ourselves a raise less than what the study actually proposed to us.
This does not have any inflationary adjustment considering the last 12, 14 months since the study was conducted.
Okay, thank you, Carrie.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussion at the last meeting with department heads and our elected official salaries and following the study, and we did make changes there, and this is, again, somewhat less than what the study had indicated, but I'm in favor of it. Commissioner Benega, any comments?
No, I agree. I don't think we should treat ourselves any differently than we've been treated the rest of the staff and the employees. We paid for the expertise that the McGrath study did, and I don't feel like we should deviate from that.
Motion is second. Please call the roll.
Heisey.
Aye.
Blindberg.
Aye.
Benega.
Aye.
Karski.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda has our bills that we pay, our personnel actions, various other routine business. If there's anybody from the public that would like to comment on an item on the consent agenda, now is your opportunity. Commissioners, anybody want to comment or pull any item from the consent agenda?
I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Benega.
Aye.
Heisey.
Aye.
Blindberg.
Aye.
Karski.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to our regular business, consider a motion to authorize the chair to sign a request for state aid for salary of county veteran service officers application. Morning, Mr. Johnson.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brett Johnson with the Human Services Department. In front of you, essentially, we've got a memo. Historically, at Human Services, we received a salary supplement from the Department of Veterans Affairs to support one VSO position. This is through codified law, and that supports all the county VSOs in the state. Just a couple of things related to that. It really is based on a set minimum salary for a county VSO, and then it's purely based on the population of the county. So if you look at what we've got in the actual request for state aid, it's based on the population that we have from the 2020 census is 197,214, and just indicating that the annual salary paid for one of our county VSOs is certainly not less than $20,625. So I come before you asking to, requesting that we get a signature from the chairperson to accept this supplement. And then with that, they just require us to do a few things, and that is certainly to have our VSOs go through the annual benefit school. They do mini conferences now, which I understand is a new thing for the Department of Veterans Affairs, so they need to attend at least one of those, as well as either attend, participate, or host an outreach event each quarter to certainly connect with more veterans in our county.
All right, thank you, Brent. Public comment on this agenda item. All right. Commission, any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, I just have one question. Thank you, Brett. Is this for one VSO? Okay.
Correct, yeah, they'll only supplement the salary of one VSO regardless of how many you have employed in the county.
Okay. Thank you.
And we have two VSOs, and obviously their salaries aren't anywhere near $20,600. You know, I had some interaction with VSOs, not only here, but I know Sanford has the equivalent of I don't know if it's the equivalent, but a veteran that works there. And, you know, the expertise and the knowledge that these VSOs provide for veterans, and being a veteran myself, I'm appreciative of what they do. And, you know, their outreach to the community through the, how many veterans are in Minnehaha County? I know there's a number tied to it, but I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, but there's thousands.
I really appreciate you putting me on the spot, Commissioner. No, I've been the interim supervisor for our county VSOs, so I can't quite give you the number of
I've heard it
veterans
before
that we have in our
myself, but
county.
yeah,
But,
so we owe the veterans this service that is provided, and thanks to the veteran service officers for doing it, so. Do I have a motion yet?
Sorry. I'll make a motion to approve the application, if you will, to the state.
I'll second that, and I also have a question for Brett, Mr. Chair. Does the VSOs we have on staff, do they work fairly closely with the local Legion, VFW, some veterans organizations?
They do. They actually interact with the Alliance up on Russell, which is essentially kind of like a one-stop portal, certainly related to all of the veterans services that are available in Sioux Falls. And they also work collectively with some of the other, like disability or Disabled Veterans of America and some of those others that aren't necessarily housed in the Alliance, but they certainly interact with other providers on a consistent basis.
Is there anything that the county or your office can do to make veterans in the county more aware of the benefits that are, or the services rather, that are available to them?
That's certainly what they do through their outreach efforts. I think one of the most recent outreach efforts that they started this last year was to do outreach to all of the nursing homes in the county. And so our VSOs are always looking at ways to reach out further and not just be available if a veteran somehow finds out about the services, but certainly doing outreach efforts, whether that is to the nursing homes, the shelters in Sioux Falls, and some of the other entities that certainly provide services to veterans. Because the key is for the county VSOs is certainly to identify veterans that aren't necessarily connected to services yet, and they're not aware of the benefits that they could be afforded. And so they certainly do the outreach and try to get them connected, start the process, and then get them connected to the Department of Veteran Affairs.
And one follow-up, I understand that veterans, given certain conditions, can apply for a property tax freeze or an abatement of some kind?
That is correct, and our county VSOs have certainly been working with our departments to identify that and make that as seamless as possible for them to access that.
Excellent. Thank you for your service.
Do I have a motion now? Okay, I do have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Benega.
Aye.
Izey.
Aye.
Blindberg.
Aye.
Karski.
Aye, motion carries. Consider a resolution to establish pay rates of pay for election workers and rental rates for polling locations. Good morning, Auditor Anderson.
Good morning. Let's see. All right. So yes, I'm requesting approval of a resolution to establish the rate of pay for election workers, facility rent, and mileage reimbursement for the 2026 election year. This is in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 121511. And just wanted to let you know that the rates that we had for the absentee board and resolution board in 2024 were increased in 2025 rather, from 18 to 1850 for the superintendents. Let me go down to my resolution here. So this item here in 24 going into 25 was increased from 18 to 1850. In 24 to 25, we increased this other item from 16 to 17, and I'm not proposing any new increases. The only item on this resolution that has been added, but has also been paid out since 2022, is the ballot box pickup. We felt like that would be a good item to include in the resolution so that it's not forgotten. But that rate has been set since 2022. The mileage reimbursement currently is 70 cents a mile, and that changes by codified law in October of each year. And so that would change mid-year. So that's why we do not put an amount for that item, but instead we reference the codified law. So I am looking for approval of this resolution. And again, there's no other changes compared to the 2025 resolution.
Okay, public comment on this agenda item. Okay, turn it over to the commission for questions and action.
I have one question, if you, excuse me. Did you get all the numbers of people that, quote, signed up to be election workers that you were looking for? And how did that end up with? Because I know that there were some stresses in trying to get that whole process completed.
So we have a good number of people that submit applications to be workers. So I do feel that we have a sufficient number of workers. I do plan, and I'm going to be doing another update for you all regarding elections as soon as we get some answers from the state on other items. But I do plan on having additional absentee boards. One thing we're waiting on for the absentee board is a very critical piece of legislation that we might be able to start processing absentee ballots on the Monday prior to the election. So that's a very critical legislative item that has an emergency clause on it that I would be supporting because it would greatly benefit our county. But we do have a good number of workers, but determining what those boards are going to look like at this point will hinge on the passage of that legislation also.
Thank you.
How many election workers do you typically, for a national or statewide election, I guess, how many election workers do you need to round up?
Currently, in the past, we've had roughly 600 for everything. That includes our absentee board, precinct workers, resolution board, all of those combined.
600.
And we planned in our budget to increase all of those areas in the coming year.
How many hours does the average election worker get paid for?
Well, the deputy and the superintendents, the precinct workers are there from roughly 6:30 in the morning until probably 7:30, 8 o'clock by the time they come back here. They're not paid hourly. As you can see, those are a per day rate. Other workers, absentee and absentee board, probably an average is more like 15 to 20 hours. In the past, that's what it's been. So what I'd like to do if that legislation passes is have the board come in on Monday and work a certain number of hours, and then they would come back in on Tuesday and wrap up the process.
Well, we certainly are grateful for the 600-plus people and the work I know that you have to put into training and certifying and whatever else goes into it. So we're grateful. It's a very limited, number of hours, but and I'm glad that we can do something for the people's time that somewhat volunteer for the position. But without them, this definitely, we couldn't pull off the elections like in the time that we do. So we're grateful for the election workers. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes. And I too appreciate every one of them. Some of them put in a lot more than 15 hours. So.
I was a poll worker back in 2022, and it was a great experience, and recommend members of the public to serve if you have time available. How does one go about being a poll worker? Do they apply at your office?
So online, we have a form that a person can fill out. We also, on the voter registration form, there's also a way you can mark on that form that you want to be considered as a worker. We do have to look at the precinct that you're living in, whether or not you're on the ballot for something. There's a lot of things that we have to consider. We also like to continue using workers that we've used in the past because of their experience. But I do like to introduce new workers in. Sometimes that upsets the apple cart with our precinct worker, the boards that are created for each precinct. Oftentimes, they're very used to working with each other, and they don't like changes. And so it's sometimes it's tough to recommend that they let somebody new come in and work with them. But I like to do that so that, because as our county grows, we have to have new precincts, and we need experienced workers to be able to transfer into those positions. But really, just reaching out to our office is the easiest way to do that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Bleinberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had one question about the pay rate. Do you have the opportunity to compare that with other counties, and how are we doing there? Is it harder for us to get volunteers or workers?
I don't think the pay rate reflects the ability to get the workers. I think most workers that want to be a worker are not doing it for the pay. They're doing it because they want to participate. I did reach out to two other counties, 2024 going into 25. I had done a comparison for everyone and used that in my presentation. And we were very comparable to other counties. We're actually a little, maybe a little higher in pay than other counties. But I think our county is unique and that we have a lot more going on with elections. And so I think it's good to appropriately pay people for their time.
Thank you. Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion to approve the pay rate.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bleinberg, second by Benega. Call the roll, please.
Bleinberg,
Aye.
Benega,
Aye.
Heisey,
Aye.
Karski.
Aye, motion carries. Moving on, consider a resolution to establish record of 2026 Minnehaha County designated polling places. Auditor Anderson.
Good morning again, Leah Anderson, Minnehaha County Auditor. I'm asking for you to approve a resolution to establish the record of 2026 designated polling places. Just a reminder, in early 25, we made one change which changed our number of precincts from 81 to 80. So we have 80 precincts and we have 64 polling places. I have one change that I would like to share for the Del Rapids area. So the city of Del Rapids had requested that we make a change to VP 21. So previously, VP 21 and VP 11 were both voting at the Lutheran Church of Del Rapids. And the city of Del Rapids requested this change to help them if they need to have an election just for those that are within the city limits. And so if you look down at the very bottom of the list for VP 21, this Riverside Event Center is part of the Del Rapids City Hall. And so they've requested that we put that precinct at that voting location. So that is included. That's the only major change to this proposal. The other location, VP 11, would remain at the Lutheran Church of Del Rapids. The voters in VP 21 will be notified once this resolution would be approved. We would notify them with postcard, just like we have in the past of other changes. The only other changes that we have in this list are some name changes. One of which is a church that had a name change. Trinity Baptist had a name change to 18th Street. I think they're now called 18th Street Church. We don't send notifications on name changes because the location is still the same. The other name changes that occurred were the community centers that we've used for many years are now being recognized with the elementary schools that they're attached to. And so those are the only other changes. And that would be, for instance, like the Harvey Dunn Elementary, some of those where the location is still the same. Otherwise, there's no other changes to this resolution.
All right. Public comment on this agenda item. Commission, turn it over to you.
I would make a motion to approve the recommendations.
Second?
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Benega.
Aye.
Blindberg.
Aye.
Heisey.
Aye.
Karski.
Motion carries. Aye. Thank you. Consider a motion to reschedule the 2026 commission meetings as follows: June 2nd to June 9th, September 15th to September 8th, and November 3rd to November 10th. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Tom Greco, Commission Administrative Officer. So these are to reschedule certain meetings based on other events that are occurring. The June 2nd and the November 3rd dates are the primary and general election respectively. So I would recommend that we move those meetings to the second Tuesday of the month. November or September 15th, move that up to September 8th, and that's due to the South Dakota Counties Convention. And then I would like to add one that was inadvertently left off, June 23rd to June 30th. That one would be because of a potential runoff by the city, in which case the chambers would be used for counting on the 23rd. So would ask that you approve that motion with the inclusion of June 23rd to June 30th.
Okay. Public comment. Okay, turn it back to the commission. So we're looking for a motion to approve the resolution as presented, but to include the change of the date from June 23rd to June 30th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, moving on, we have the opportunity for public comment. We allow anyone that would like to address the commission 5 minutes for any non-agenda item, with a total of 30 minutes as required by South Dakota statute.
Gary Meyer. I just have a follow-up comment to Dean on your comment that the commissioner's salaries haven't been reviewed for 17 years. I find that a little bit misleading. Your salaries are reviewed, I would guess, every year, maybe just not by a professional consulting. And being we couldn't get the overhead working, one of the figures I had that I was going to show was, Dean, your salary or the chairperson's salary has increased 34% in the last 5 years. The vice chair has increased 39% in the last 5 years. And the at-large members have increased 35%. So to say that your salaries aren't reviewed or kept up, I think is a little misleading. Thank you.
Any additional public comment for any non-agenda item? All right, moving over then to commission liaison reports. It's kind of a holidays the last few weeks. We haven't had a lot of additional meetings scheduled, most likely, so any liaison reports? Any non-action commission discussion? All right.
Mr. Chair, just have
Yes, sir.
one quick comment. We might want to look at, when we're changing dates for this year, moving the December 22nd meeting, which is 3 days before Christmas, to the 29th of the month. Simply for the fact we don't run into a similar problem that we had this last time around, or maybe even the second Tuesday of the month in December of 2026. Just something to think about.
Bears considering. I would agree that we can, we got a little bit of time to talk about it, but yeah, we only had 2 commissioners physically present on December 23rd this last time, so thank you for that, Commissioner. Any additional comments? Non-action commission discussion. Okay, we do have an executive session plan, so I'd look for a motion to enter into executive session for the purposes of South Dakota Codified Law 125-2, 134, and 6.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned to, or moving into executive session. Thank you, everybody.